Dispensers, we crank up on the sensors. Tiny Toon Adventures. Get a dose of comedy. And here's Acme Acres. It's a whole new world of art. With I don't remember all of it. Tiny, we're toony, we're all a little loony. And in this cartoony, we're invading your TV. We're comic dispensers, we crack up all the sensors. So here's that makers, it's all.
Hey, Phil.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen a wrestling promo like this before?
All you losers out there, shut up and pay attention because I got a lot to talk about. But first I want to say to all the women out there, stop crying, stop worrying.
Yeah.
The prince is recovered. I'm still looking good. I'm still pretty, baby. Brooke Shields still ain't got nothing on this, baby. Now, as far as those individuals responsible, Boogaloo Brown, you're nothing but a little jive-talking spider monkey, running around mad at the world because President Boda won't give your idiot race South Africa. Why don't you grow up, Brown, and do something you're qualified for like shining shoes? Despina Mantagas, the Greek bull dyke, the last time she was with a man, she was one. As far as I'm concerned, you got a she-freak over here. You got some idiot over here who thinks he's Desmond Tutu from Harlan. And together, these two psychos viciously and without any reason attack me. They split my head open. They attack my bodyguard. They attack my #1 lady, Charlie Haynes. And does the WCW do a damn thing about it? Hell no. They passed
Not
on the
that
back, told them they
WCW.
did good, and then
I was
they
about
had
to
the
say,
nerve
was
and
this
the
a
audacity
WCW
to
promo?
ban my bodyguard. What the hell is the conspiracy all about? Is it because we're so much better looking than all these bimbos out there? But you know, it really doesn't matter because I'll tell you why. The
All
payback
them
is coming,
bimbos.
baby, and the payback is going to be hell, and it's going to be one big surprise. And I'm talking to all these bitches. They all can bring it on. And I'm talking about Mantagas, Donkey Face, Candy Divine, the Ace of Spades, Princess Jasmine, Robin Jailbait Lane. Y'all can come to me, and you're all going to fall. And as far as you're concerned, Debbie Combs, you're a 2-bit 35-cent champion with a body and IQ to match it. And you might as well give it up, sweetie, and go back to
That
the
one I don't mind.
with that Valium-addicted alcoholic mother of yours. Because Charlie Haynes and the Prince are going to take the world championship because I do everything very good, if you know what I mean.
What do you? Oh.
Excuse me.
He asked me the question. Wait a minute.
Oh, it gets better here.
This thing, shut your face. This thing thinks that he's the best manager.
No, brother, I don't think. First of all, black men shouldn't be talking first. That's the first thing. You got to be sitting in the back of some line. Okay.
Right.
First off, I've claimed openly I've done more in the business and professional wrestling. It's obvious the sexiest combination. People come and say, Prince, you're better looking than my wife. And I say, yes.
Sex. This is not Falcon Crest. This is wrestling. We ain't about no sex, baby. We're here to win. Disgusting. You are disgusting.
He's right. Is he wrong?
Right.
Greek condominium over here.
I'm just.
Boy, I'll rip your head off.
Oh, let's say you try, you disgusting creature! Leave him alone! Come fight me, you
So he's hiding behind the girl now. He said all that shit before.
Right. Well, of course, as he would now hide behind.
Now he's being. Oh, jeez.
My brain hurts. Like, I get it. Like, what was that? The late 80s, early 90s that was probably filmed?
What's up, guys? It's your boy, Tim Zabriskie here, back at it again with the brand new vid. I got my sweet macho tank top on because Spring texted me this weekend and said, hey, what up, Timbo? What do you want to get into? We got a great little Wednesday night edition of the Tim Zabriskie Show here, and it's gonna be fun talking about something that is kind of turned into a clusterfuck, if you will. Today, me and my buddy, we're gonna be talking about the greatest Royal Rumble, not to be confused with the 1992 Royal Rumble. There's me, obviously, holding the belt. I wish. Yeah, it's never gonna happen. I'm short and I'm fat. It's okay. And my buddy over here, Phil. Phil, say hello.
I'm not looking half bad, by the way.
You're looking very good in that picture.
I'm enjoying that picture.
Yeah, you're looking great. How are you? How are things? It's been a couple minutes since the last time we chatted.
I'm doing nothing but causing trouble on social media. So that's my life right now.
Causing a lot of drama, are we?
Apparently.
Oh, what's happening in the world of social media?
Just don't ask me how my spring break was, and we'll go from there.
Okay, what are you doing right now? where are you going? Are you hiding?
I didn't mean.
Are you hiding from social media right now?
I have a standing desk.
Oh, do you? Oh.
And
wow.
I was not trying to stand, and now all of a sudden I've shrunk. So now I'm trying to fix the chair.
Yeah, well, aren't we the physical type? So, to let everybody know, Tim Zabriskie Show started about a year ago. We have a good time. Make sure you follow me on all sorts of social media at Timmy Zabriskie. You can find me on my YouTube page as well, where we are also streaming live if you're not watching it there, at username TimmyZ4674. It sucks because I made that username like, I don't know, in like 2004, 2005, 2006, I guess, when YouTube came around, and they won't let me change it. So hey, YouTube, catch me outside. F you. We had a great show. Make sure you leave all your comments everywhere. We will definitely, if we don't respond to them immediately, we will respond to them after the show is over with. And you're welcome to call in right here, 518-350-4312. Let us know your thoughts on the card. And it's going to be an interesting one. So, Phil, let's talk about before we even go into this card, right? Let's just go into why I said it on social media. This show here is a clusterfuck. Like, let's just go into it. What for you? What was the number one reason why this show is a clusterfuck?
So for me, I'm gonna say I feel this was prepared probably 4 or 5 months ago.
Okay.
With where people were on the rosters that they were on 5 or 6 months ago. They've done the superstar shakeup. There's that.
Yeah.
There's the whole, you're going to a country that doesn't want female representation on camera,
right,
doing an athletic contest.
That's the biggest one for me. You know, I don't really care for her very much, but Ashley Massaro, whatever, you know, when she had her her little tiny shot of coffee, because it was a really small time in the company, but still, she made a post with of a meme where there was a hot girl walking in the front, and it said Saudi Arabia money, and then it was a couple that was walking the opposite way. And if you visualize with me, but the guy was turning, checking out her ass, basically neglecting everything that they've done for the women's revolution, because, you know, they can't have any women on the show here. And apparently this is a pretty big moneymaker of an event.
Right, they've already advertised that it's sold out. It's completely sold out. It seems like a very large size building. I mean, put it in context. It looks like the size of the Superdome, and WrestleMania didn't sell out. So,
yeah. So yeah, of course they're trying to make that paper right now. Jeez, but at the same time, it's like, to me, it's insulting to call it the Royal Rumble to all of us as fans, because we just came from. I was gonna make the joke like, oh, I feel like we did this a couple months ago, because we had the Royal Rumble. That's always in January, but now we have the greatest Royal Rumble. Like, it's an insult to our intelligence, but I don't know if the WWE as a company, because we don't know how much money this whole deal is, not including any of the tickets or anything like that.
right.
This could be literally, like, I'm not even lying, this could end up being like $1 billion deal. So, with that being said, they probably had to, you know, the guy was like, oh, we really like the Royal Rumble. We want to call it the Royal Rumble. And they were like, fuck, okay. Like,
Right.
because at the same time, you know, they don't really care. You know what I mean? For us, they'll be like, oh, it's, you know, it's just great because, you know, like, we did, 40 people in the 2012 Royal Rumble, you know what I mean? That was different. It's just another different thing. And but the Saudi Arabia people, I don't know, maybe they're taking a look at it like, yeah, you know, our money can do anything, you know.
I mean, and it is, you know, an untapped market, specifically Saudi Arabia, and I think that's the main point the WWE is trying to do. I will say though, you know, if I'm kind of fair about it, one of the responses I saw on Twitter was, the WWE is a wrestling company. You expect them to change the culture of another country and go in with our own values and say, you all need change. At the same time, you can also say, it's an American company. Why can't we represent what our company is in America? So,
oh, if you don't think that John Cena's coming out with all fucking American red, white, and blue new attire and all that shit, or they'll do it with a heel. Oh my gosh, they fucking better. Yeah. like
Titus O'Neil, totally. Like,
yeah, exactly. Or Lex is coming back, because fuck, there's a lot of different returns that we have going on with this show. So yeah, let's just go right into it. What do we got for an undercard, I guess? Because I honestly have no idea. I have no idea what's going on with this card at all. No idea. So do you know anything like what we got?
I mean, I don't know if you want to start with the main event, because that was sort of the first thing that was announced, or do you want to go?
What, the Rumble?
Well, I mean, it's outside the Rumble itself. So
okay.
the WWE's already announced that the event itself is going to be 5 hours long. Now, I don't know if that.
What? How are they going to do this?
I don't know if that means they're going to start with the kickoff at 11. And I mean, so our time, it's going to, on East Coast time, it's going to be 11 a.m. to 4. Excuse me, let me back up. I don't know if that means starting with the kickoff at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time in the United States, that if that's going to go until 4 p.m. or if they're saying when the event itself starts at 12 p.m. that it's going to go until 5 p.m. I'm not.
Right. So there's something that I thought about before we came on the air. With this whole thing, they really should have waited till the summer, because I don't know if you have this down where you're at, Phil, down in Maryland, down in DC, in that area, but I know in New York, I didn't have this at my jobs that I've had in New York, but I know that this is a thing, right? They're called Summer Fridays, right? Where basically on Fridays you work a half day, okay? So, you know, you can work till 12, you can work till 1, because in the summer, a lot of the times, a lot of the businesses that are headquartered in New York, they're a little slower. So on Friday, they get to go out, they get to go to the beach, so they just have a half day that day. They still get paid for a full day and things like that. They should have waited till the summer to do this card if the start time of the pay-per-view is going to be at 12 o'clock. Thoughts?
So, well, that's part of it too. Like, I was just looking at the card. There are, including the 50-man Royal Rumble, there are 10 matches announced.
Oh, great. That's good. They're putting on a... So that means that each match basically... All right, we'll give an hour to the Rumble, right? So that's 4 hours for 9 matches. So what do we got? That's basically like a little bit, what, like 25 minutes a match in that range, kind of. You know what I mean? Including entrances and exits and time to get other promos in there and stuff like that. Because you know they're plugging the shit. They're gonna plug the shit out of that $9.99 or whatever it translates to out in Saudi Arabia,
right?
Because why not? You know what I mean? This is exactly why they're going in there, so that they can plug their shit. That way they can bring their subscriber count from 1.5 million to they could probably do 3 million, right?
Oh wow. Okay, so this is in my very quick scan of the card and part of how this event culminated and came together. Now, they didn't announce it publicly until March 5th.
Right.
So in a very short time, this sold out their stadium. So this is part of a 10-year strategic multi-platform partnership between the WWE and the Saudi General Sports Authority in support of something called the Saudi Vision 2030, which is supposed to reinvigorate the Saudi Arabia social and economic reform program.
Wow.
Wow. Right. See, reading is fundamental. But I guess I'm trying to find out a little bit more about just the why. You know, what is it that made it go like, wow, this is such the thing that we want in the WWE, and this is why we want it. But there have been some comments. So even in Saudi Arabia, there's been some direction towards having female athletes on television.
Yeah.
Here is the interesting sort of twinge to that little statement, though.
Okay.
Is how do I put this gently? Because it's not going to come out the way I really want it to, but it is just what happened.
Listen,
so,
we're shooting from the hip today, so just do it.
In Middle Eastern cultures, like porn is really like no. It's like a big hard you don't.
It's a hard left.
Right. However, I will say, working for a company that does women's matches and an all-female company, all of a sudden one night it was like our YouTube hits were astronomical. They like in the millions we were getting views, and it's like, where did this happen all of a sudden overnight?
Yeah.
And something happened something happened where we viewed the analytics. We could see that from the Middle East, all of a sudden we had viewers who were really engaging with women's wrestling because technically it is not pornography.
It's not, but to them, it's going to be a little smutty. These guys will go home. These guys, dude, this makes perfect sense. It makes perfect sense to like when you think about the way American culture was in the 40s, right? Where you know, like people were going to, you know, people still do this, Pee Wee Herman, but but basically, like people would spend a lot of money to go to the movie theaters. That way they could see like a 10-30 second clip of something of like a kneecap or something like that. So now the WWE is going to go there and basically become the new smut of the area.
Well, yes and no, because then you have the same guys, at least, who are also appearing on mainstream movies. So you have that tie-in too.
Yeah.
So Triple H, I have a response from Triple H. Triple H responded to the criticism saying, I understand that people are questioning it, that you have to understand that every culture is different, and just because you don't agree with a certain aspect of it, it doesn't mean it's not a relevant culture. You can't dictate to a country or religion about how they handle things. But having said that, WWE is at the forefront of a women's evolution in the world, and what you can't do is affect change anywhere by staying away from it. While women are not competing in the event, we've had discussions about that and hope that in the next few years they will be. Women will be permitted to attend as fans, but only if accompanied by a male guardian.
It's very
that last sentence, by the way, I'm sorry, that last sentence was not attributed to Triple H. That's just sort of a statement of
the way that things are.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's that. They're gonna make a lot of money. It's basically off this one show. They sold out super fast and everything. People are talking shit about us right now, but I don't even care. Apparently, you watch porn. I have no muscles. I don't care. I used to have muscles, but I like being skinny. Whoever the fuck you are, you don't even have a podcast. All right, let's get into this card. Let's start breaking this thing down. I don't know. Let's go into the first match. Is it the women's champion? Oh no, we already talked about that.
Are you okay? Like you're losing your.
What?
You're losing your focus.
I'm losing my focus. All right. Let's get back into it. I'm doing great. I got the day off tomorrow. Everything like that. All right. What do you got? What's the card?
Okay. So, well, and here's a match that has had a lot of conversation too. The Undertaker versus Rusev in a casket match.
Yes. So, Undertaker versus Rusev. Back and forth between him and Jericho. He's definitely got himself over, but I think he's gonna get that Zack Ryder heat, right? Like, or unless he already has it, because basically, this guy got himself over with this Rusev Day thing. I don't even understand what it means, but it's fantastic, and he's gonna like. He was supposed to originally fight The Undertaker. He went and did that interview with TMZ. Did you see this interview that he did?
I did.
Yeah, and should I find it? Should I play it? Is it?
Well, so no. I mean, basically, he's like, The Undertaker is an old man, and the WWE was really worried that he was going to offend The Undertaker, so they pulled him out of the match, and they tried to use it storyline-wise on social media that it was Lana who was afraid that Rusev was being put into this match as the way out.
Yeah,
and
they tried to cover it, and they did a shitty job at that. Is what it is.
They really did. So then, when they figured out that the Undertaker really wasn't mad, Rusev then teases people to say like, "I'm quitting. I'm leaving the WWE." He doesn't like directly say it. Like he changes his Twitter profile and he's like, "To book me, email me at like bookrusev@gmail.com" or something like that. And it's like, what's happening? And then all of a sudden he's announced that he's going to be back in this match. Once again, it was realized he didn't offend The Undertaker.
Yeah, because The Undertaker's smart enough to realize like what he's doing, trying to get some hype and everything like that. And now he's back into the match, so it actually makes him look a lot better.
Right.
Exactly how I feel. So now he's going into this match. Who do you got for a winner, Phil?
Undertaker, Lana.
Lana's the winner. Yes.
You know what? I don't know. One thing they haven't said are females allowed to be there as valets? Are they allowed to be characters on their television? So I don't know.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna say Undertaker, of course.
I don't think that they're even gonna risk it, because otherwise, we would have, you know, Sasha Banks coming out randomly with Finn Balor, and you know what I mean, things like that. Like,
right.
I don't think that any of the women are gonna end up going. I mean, I could very well be wrong, but that's what makes this whole thing fun. If you guys have any comments, if you want to jump into the conversation, give us a shout, 518-350-4312. But yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna have to go with the Undertaker, obviously, because there's no way Rusev's going over the Undertaker in that regard.
No.
So, I think if anything,
it's not a WrestleMania match. Anything could happen.
Exactly. I think the big thing is that most of the stuff is. How would you say that this is going to end? What I think is going to end up happening is that Aiden English is going to be taking a lot of the heat. I think that you know, him being the lighter guy, it's going to be easier for the Undertaker to you know, choke slam him and do whatever. Even though he looked great, but as another podcast that I heard, they had said when he wrestled John Cena at WrestleMania, he worked like what, 3 to 5 minutes. So you can't really base you know, him like looking fantastic for working 3 minutes, but you know, like being in the ring for 3 minutes and you haven't been in a while, like it, you know, you definitely get blown up fast. So, and I've definitely seen some stuff from his house before where he definitely has a ring like in one of his rooms or something like that. So he's probably been hitting the ropes or something like that, you know.
Right.
So, but yeah, I think that Aiden English is going to be taking most of the heat. This is a casket match, so he's just going to roll Rusev right in, and then we'll see Rusev on Tuesday. Catch me outside. How about that?
Right. And this kind of goes to what you were talking about before, just the organization of this event. This event is though they've now tried to connect some storyline elements to it, it's like after the fact. I feel like they put together the matches and then went, oh, we'll put it all together later.
Yeah.
And Undertaker Rusev, like there's no payoff for it. There's no reason why. Like there's just not. Now I think they're gonna cherry pick, of course, some of the different story elements that are going to occur, but some of these matches are just occurring because they're going to be matches that they think are going to draw. Again, the venue is sold out.
Yeah. So at this point, it doesn't even matter. That's an old Dudley Boys thing that I that he said in one of his shoots. Bubba Ray was talking about like trying to teach respect to Rene Dupree, and Rene's like, "Oh, why are you stiffing me?" and blah blah blah. And he's just like, we work fucking hard every single night. The night that we can take it easy is when we're already sold out because they're already there. So yeah, it's just gonna be easy peasy. Aiden English is taking all the heat, and then Rusev going over.
Now, I think the thing about the WWE schedule is they've also been, what I think they were saying last weekend, they were in South Africa, then they were back here in the States. Now they're going to Saudi Arabia, and they're coming back to the United States. No, they were in Canada. They're in Montreal. So they've just been all over the place.
Yeah. And
or they're going to Montreal next week. One of the two, I can't remember.
Definitely. One of the things I did want to say with which we kind of all touched on, and you just brought it up too, like everything's being put together after the fact. I think the big part of it has to do with the fact that we just came off WrestleMania 3 weeks ago, so there really wasn't enough time to have a pretty good build for it. So I think that that's going to be a huge part of why everything just feels really rushed. And this thing is, as I said multiple times, a huge just fucking clusterfuck. So besides that, let's just go to the next match. What do we got going on next?
John Cena versus Triple H.
Oh, you mean the rematch from 2009? Huge fucking payoff. Let's do it right now. It seems like it's time.
Right. I mean, let's face it. This is really about. I don't know when this match was announced. I don't remember hearing about it until this week. And again, it was sort of like, why have this match and announce it after the fact you've sold out, or was it announced there before it sold out to try to get that interest of like, here are these two or larger caliber names that are going to battle it out.
Exactly. The way I look at it at the same time is that like it was announced there way before, and you know, maybe it was before they even made it official that this was going to be happening here. Could that be a possibility, or like happening here as in like streaming on the network and everything like that?
Mm-hmm.
So then yeah, I don't know. There's just not enough build, but this isn't like. The problem is that this isn't like just some regular fucking indie show where card subject to change is like, it's like a godsend, right? Like this is like the biggest fucking company in the world. So they like, you think that these guys, if anybody, would have their shit together a little bit more and would have worked harder. Like the only match, and we're gonna talk about it obviously, that I see this with is Brock and Roman. You know what I mean? That's the only match where I feel the payoff is coming at this big show. Like,
right.
but all these other matches is kind of thrown together. Like, I could just see it where they were just having a meeting with one of the Saudi Arabia guys, and he's just like,
yeah, what if we did Triple H? What if we got Triple H and, because I know who he is, because I watched wrestling like 20 years ago. My son likes it so much. And John Cena, does that work for you?
And so then from there, they were just like, sure, whatever you want, give me $1 billion. Because I'm sticking with it. They're making a fucking $1 billion off this thing.
Right.
To all of you that are watching, let me know how much you think that the WWE is going to be making off this Saudi Arabia money deal. Because I'm going with $1 billion. That's it. That's the only amount that they would pull all these random shenanigans for. But who do you got going over?
This one I really am not sure. I mean, I'll have to say John Cena. I feel Triple H has just been beaten up by Ronda Rousey. I don't know if it's convincing. I think being the boss now, he would give it to John Cena.
Yeah, I mean, you know, they're trying to make that Cena merch out there, I guess, right? Does Triple H even have a T-shirt out right now?
That's true.
Because that's what this whole thing goes around. It goes around all those merchandise sales, those video game sales, because the biggest thing is that if you don't like it, you can do it again in the video game for $60 a pop. So
my brain was just thinking, John Cena is in a new movie called Blockers.
Yeah.
I have a feeling it's maybe not appropriate for that audience because my brain was also like, oh, maybe they were working this into his media tours of selling the movie at the same time too. But I don't know if that's really the truth. But so I'm gonna say John Cena.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Cena too because my whole thing as well is that the movie's still playing out there. That's for
right.
Sure. I wonder if it's part of his contract at the same time where I wonder if he does a movie if WWE gets a cut because he's still under their contract and they're probably helping him, with that name, brand, and everything like that, even though it's his legit name. It all makes sense because at the end of the day, it's all about the damn dollar.
You are not wrong. You are absolutely not wrong.
Absolutely.
So next up, this is a really weird order, Wikipedia. Next up for the WWE Cruiserweight Championship, Cedric Alexander versus Kalisto.
Why Kalisto?
I hate to say I haven't been watching 205 Live, so I don't know what's driving this, or is it another random happenstance?
Right. I did try to watch 205 Live a few weeks ago. I got through the first match. I enjoyed the match. It was a Cedric Alexander match. It was right before WrestleMania that I watched it. Trying to get into the whole WrestleMania spirit and everything like that. Maybe they're trying to set the mask thing. You know how they, for years and years, like with Mysterio, who I know is on this card, for years and years at WrestleMania, the big rumor was that they were trying to break like the world record with the masks. Maybe they're doing that, right? maybe
So-
he's a known name, like as far as the cruiserweights with the whole lucha deal, you know.
So where I'm a little bit confused. All right. So apparently there is a slight storyline element. So initially, Alexander was supposed to face Buddy Murphy. Buddy Murphy attacked him on 205 Live on the 205 Live after WrestleMania.
Okay.
But then Murphy failed his mandatory weigh-in at 207 pounds.
Yes, they've been doing that with him, where every single week they've been weighing him. So
Okay.
maybe they've just been holding that on the back burner for something like this. But keep going.
So general manager Drake Maverick then had a gauntlet match to determine who would face Alexander, and Kalisto won the gauntlet match.
Okay. Yeah, I think that, you know, he's got that name recognition for being on all the different shows and everything like that. I think Kalisto's a good pick. I don't think, though, and this is going to go right into my pick for this match, I don't think they're going to take the belt off Cedric at all. I think that I think they're running with it for a little bit. I think with him being I'm trying to think, is he the only not stereotyping or anything like that, but is he the only black champion that they have right now?
Championship wise, yes.
So there you go.
Or at least who's going to be represented on this event, yes.
Yeah, so I think that makes sense with keeping him where he's at right now. It's they're trying to really build up that brand at the same time. So they just put the belt on him. It's too soon. It's way too soon to take the belt off him. I think they're just going to have a great match. And, I could see that actually being the opener to the whole card. And not in a negative way, like, oh, they're not getting like a main event spot or anything like that. I just see that as very fast, quick moving, a lot of spots, high spots. Maybe Kalisto will do a backflip off like a part of the building or something like that, super crazy style, get the fans really fucking into it, and then put him to sleep with John Cena and Triple H.
Ouch.
Yeah, that's what we're doing here today.
Controversy.
All right, who do you think? Who do you got?
I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to say Alexander's going to win.
And why?
I kind of agree with all your points. They just put the title on him. That belt has been a little bit of the hot potato title. Like, it's been going to everybody.
Yeah. You have to have a conviction to hold the belt.
Right.
All right.
I think that they are trying to develop them. I mean, the way I'm kind of reading this, not having watched 205 Live, is it sounds like they're trying to build Murphy into a challenge for Alexander for the championship.
Yeah. So he could very well at the same
match
time
and cause a melee that then causes maybe Alexander to lose the match, or causes a disqualification that causes Alexander to lose the match.
Yeah, I think at the same time with what you're saying, he could very well interfere in the match too. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But we'll go with it there. What else do we got? What's next on this 5-hour 12 p.m. on a Friday card for all of you part-time employees out there?
Right. For the WWE SmackDown Tag Team Championship, the Bludgeon Brothers, the current champions, Harper and Rowan,
Yes.
take on former champions, the Usos, Jay and Jim.
I really like what they're doing with Brody and Eric. I think, winning the belts at the biggest show of the whole year, next to the greatest Royal Rumble, of course, but that's the greatest way to say like we like you, we like the gimmick. I think that ever since they repackaged them, they look fantastic. Brody, as well as since he's gotten up there, Brody as in Luke Harper, he's definitely lost weight. He's slim, he's faster, he's more aggressive, he's great. Eric Rowan has improved leaps and bounds, and I think it's going to be hard between them and the Thugs. Once again, I think that this gives a very good potential for match of the night. like I don't know. I want to hear who you have to say, who you think is going to win, because it's hard for me to kind of figure that out at this point.
And unfortunately for me, I think the SmackDown tag titles have also been a little bit of the hot potato title, where it's sort of like, we can change this at will. I don't know if they've developed the rivalry of the Usos versus the Bludgeon Brothers enough. I almost feel like this will just be a continuation. So I'm going to say it's a push for that reason, that they're not ready to change it off of them yet.
Okay. As far as the whole push and everything like that, I kind of want to disagree with you a little bit on that, because I feel they've made the Bludgeon Brothers look very strong. Now, I know that that's a joke with Roman, as far as, you know, from the CM Punk podcast that he did a while ago, where he's like, make Roman strong, or keep Roman looking strong. You know, whatever it is that he said with that whole thing. But I think that they definitely have made them look really strong. I mean, from power bombing Xavier Woods onto the steel steps. I know that Xavier is not in the Thugs or the Usos. You know, we call them the Thugs here on the show. But I think that at the same yeah, I call them the Thugs. You're right. Let me take that back. But I think that, you know, they beat the hell out of them too. They've kept them looking strong, and I think they're going to continue to do so until like a new team comes around, or you know, something happens, or maybe this could be the babyface pop of the night, where the Usos win it really fast and then they lose it right again on Tuesday or something like that.
Right. And that's just it. What I meant by the push was, I just don't think the feud had been built up. I think giving the Bludgeon Brothers the belts at WrestleMania, of course, is a huge leap for them. Absolutely. So I didn't mean, if it came off that I was disparaging them, I'm totally not. It was more about where I thought the feud itself was. Right.
Yeah, I mean, the three teams have basically been feuding this whole time, though. They've been feuding for months. It doesn't feel like it, but they've kind of been feuding since January, and you know, we're about to hit the 4th month of that. So, and in WWE times, that's a good amount for a feud.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I'm starting to think now as we're discussing this, and that's the whole thing. Like this whole card is so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. And if you want to chime in, you know, with any of your opinions or anything like that, 518-350-4312. My whole thing with this is that, what if this turns out to be one of those shows like we've seen these guys do in the past, these guys as in the WWE as a whole? What if this becomes one of those shows that quickly they make all these decisions and everything like that, but then turn around and then just put it all back, like it doesn't even matter? Just like as we're saying here with the tag titles, Usos win it here, lose it on Tuesday. What if they did that with all the different championships that are happening right now? They very well could. They're literally going in there, and you know, the thing is that like these guys are kind of like skis balls, and they could probably get away with it too. They're going in there. They're gonna make this $1 billion that I keep bringing up. You know, giving these promoters and these fans one hell of a show, and then, you know, making all these decisions. Everyone's gonna be like, oh, what a big impact this is gonna have. Then reversing all these decisions, and it doesn't even matter. Going back to what we were talking about before with Triple H and John Cena, right? If Triple H and John Cena, that match really doesn't mean anything. There's no build-up. Triple H is going away. You know, John Cena could go away after this too, go and deal with his love life and everything like that he's dealing with Nikki Bella, and you know, that literally could just be the end of it, and they don't touch again for how long? Same thing with The Undertaker. We probably won't see The Undertaker after this for a long time. You know what I mean?
So there's a mix of things. Well, first, randomly, I happened to listen to, well, it's not called The Nerdist anymore. It's the ID10T podcast with Chris Hardwick. He interviewed John Cena, and they were talking about blockers, but then it also led into this conversation about wrestling. And he talks about, you know, I got to do all these cool things. You know, I got to propose to the woman I love. And it was very interesting because it, you know, not too long after that, they had their separation. So yeah. I don't know, that was just randomly telling. But when you look at like what happens then over the course of the next 6 matches, 4 of them, if you include the Royal Rumble match, are all people from both brands. And so there's this potential for some swapping of titles, which we've seen before at events. I think those things are more likely. I mean, I thought we were going into this with Jinder Mahal as the United States champion.
Yeah, I don't know why on these shows, because they did this before. Because didn't they go to India in November or something like that? They did the exact same thing.
I mean, I'm kind of giving it away a little bit, but I know for that match, like, I thought, again, they would go into this event with him being the champion. Instead, imagine the pop he might get if he becomes the champion.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
And if that happens, then I think we already know the way the Intercontinental Championship is going to go.
Exactly. Now, who's in the Intercontinental Championship match? Let's just segue right into that one.
The Intercontinental Championship is a four-way. The current champion, Seth Rollins, Finn Balor, both of them are on Raw, and then from SmackDown, Samoa Joe and Miz.
Very, 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 very peculiar. I find this very peculiar, and just to talk about just generic WWE, not even this card yet, but why would they put Samoa Joe over there if he's fighting Roman Reigns at a pay-per-view that's after this pay-per-view that's tomorrow? What are we doing here? It's confusing.
They had announced, I feel maybe in February, so maybe around the time of the Royal Rumble, that they were going to go back to co-branded pay-per-views, that they were no longer going to do these dual Raw, SmackDown every 2 to 3 week kind of pay-per-view schedules,
right?
That they were going to narrow them down a little bit more. So I think they were just trying to build up that they were going to have this rivalry. But again, I think the interesting question component of that is what happens then with Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns this Friday too, because let's say Roman walks out the champion,
right?
Then I don't. So for me, if it's sort of like a whole big series of dominoes. If Jinder Mahal wins the United States Championship and brings that back to Raw, then someone from SmackDown is going to win the Intercontinental Championship. Let's say I'm going to say it's Samoa Joe.
Right.
And then that means to me, Brock Lesnar would retain the heavyweight champ or the Universal Championship. But if The Miz gets it, then I think Roman becomes the heavyweight champion to take on Samoa Joe as the challenger.
Wow.
That's literally it. Just
wow.
That's all that you can say, because it's such a conundrum. But at the same time, that's what makes this whole thing exciting. You know what I mean? Just literally looking at this, because there's so many different elements, trying to figure out what to predict, what these guys are thinking, because at the end of the day, it's their show. They can do whatever the hell they want. They can put the belt on, I don't know, Daniel Bryan out of nowhere. Like that's the whole thing too. Like I don't want to jump topics and go to the other match yet, but what does the winner of the greatest Royal Rumble get?
That's just it. They've not said, previously, at the traditional annual Royal Rumble, you get the winner who points to the sign that goes, I'm going to WrestleMania to face the champion.
I'm going to point at my own sign.
There you go.
You get to be on air with me.
I don't have a sign, so I'm going to point to my Halloween horn. But I don't know. Like, they've not said it. I would imagine that they wouldn't throw it away, that they would give something like this person has a title opportunity, or, it creeps a little bit into the storyline of the WWE. What's interesting is too, I was really questioning why The Miz would be going over to SmackDown. I really thought that this was the year he's done an amazing job with the Intercontinental Championship, that this was the year that they give him the direction to go towards the main event. They keep him The Miz, but that really they start building him up to be the main event guy.
I think they're still doing that. I definitely think they're on their way to continue doing that. I think that they need that big blow off for the next, whatever they're gonna do on SmackDown, right? They need that one really big centerized storyline, and we're gonna get that with Daniel Bryan. The question is that when are we getting that? Right,
because now they've even stopped that with having Cass beat up Daniel Bryan in the back. So now there's a rivalry between Daniel Bryan and Big Cass.
Yep, he's gonna have to go through Big Cass to get to the Miz, which makes me think it's gonna be at SummerSlam. That's, you know, which they need. Like, is SummerSlam in New York again this year, or is it somewhere else?
I will find out. Well, and that's just it too. Like,
I'll find that
are we
out.
going to see the sign pointing and it's SummerSlam?
Yeah, I don't. That'd be crazy too. But at the same time, like I don't know. SummerSlam 2018. New York City. It's back where it was before.
Oh,
so,
Barclays.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's just they're gonna end up getting together at SummerSlam. That's where that's going. He's gonna have to get through Big Cass and then whoever else. Do you think that so who are we looking for this 4-way for the Intercontinental Championship then?
So I'm gonna go on a limb and I'm gonna say Samoa Joe. I have a feeling they're gonna throw it back on the Miz, but I really am gonna go say Samoa Joe.
I'm gonna disagree on the Samoa Joe. I liked your idea before with Roman and Samoa Joe for the WWE title. So that'll also segue into where we're going with Brock. I think that Brock is going to go and make his $500,000 for this appearance. Did you know that? Did you hear about that? Like
I did hear about $100,000 for a TV appearance and $500,000 for a pay-per-view appearance. Yeah,
a pay-per-view match.
So, yes,
or any. I think it's any sort of match. So he doesn't have like a. So this will give him the ability to go to fucking do whatever he wants to do. If he wants to go fight again or whatever. So it's appearance based. He's gonna lose the title in tomorrow or Friday, and then Roman versus Samoa Joe for the WWE Championship. Backlash. Bam.
there you go.
All right, so let's go into the Universal Championship, right?
Sure, we have Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns inside a steel cage.
Okay, I think I just gave away my answer to that one, but how do you think the match will go?
Honestly, it's going to go as well as any other matches. Honestly, I don't feel this should be a main event. It's going to be the main event. Maybe the Royal Rumble will actually be the main event.
They will. I think they're going to make the Rumble the main event.
We've seen Brock versus Roman a few times now. It has never truly delivered for fans. It just hasn't. And I just think either they're a bad combo together. I'm not sure what we have to expect out of this. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's not like the wave of millions of people caused a interference in the last match. So why would a steel cage resolve this? You know,
they didn't really. It's not like they really went to the outside a lot or anything like that. You know,
right? And so for me, it's a little bit like this was just as you would with an independent event. You sometimes have your main event as a steel cage, and the main event to sell to a broader audience is it's a steel cage match. Not even necessarily who the guys are. So
yeah,
I think that some of this at the same time, I'm more like 70-30 they're going to keep it on Brock.
You think so?
Because every time I feel like I say, this is the right opportunity to finally get this belt off of Brock Lesnar.
Yes, that's how I'm at right now.
I'm horribly wrong every time. Samoa Joe, Braun Strowman, who else but a monster like that? Honestly, right now, Roman Reigns has been beat up, battered, torn apart, without even a glimmer of an opportunity that he would be big enough to beat Brock Lesnar. And so why they would go this route with him, I just don't see him pulling off a victory.
I'll tell you why. I'm going to tell you why right now. You ready? Because you already said it like 3 times, and I said it twice. This is an indie event that's being put on by the biggest wrestling company that's out there. That's literally it. I don't know if they've ever been there before. You know, I'm not that much of a crazy WWE historian. However, this is the first time that they're there. So it's in a steel cage. They're literally doing it exactly with the way that you just said.
Mm-hmm.
I always use this phrase. That being said, like, so they're gonna use this as that big match to really put Brock over, or excuse me, to put Roman over, because what they saved it from WrestleMania so that they could do it over here for a place that's already been sold out. Everything that we've already talked about before, they're just gonna make it easy. Brock's gonna not be on the show for a very long time, which means Vince doesn't have to pay him that $100,000 every time he's on the show. And then they're gonna walk away with this $1 billion of Saudi Arabia money, and then Brock will be back after his next fight or whatever the hell he wants to do. If he wants to go hunting or roll on top of Sable or whatever it is that he really wants to do.
So I did have to look at the WWE's actual first time they were ever in Saudi Arabia. It was only 4 years ago. So it's not a regular stop along the way.
So what makes
but
this...
now it seems like it will be.
Yeah, what makes this so different, though? That's my question. What makes this so different that with just this huge push like this? Is it a new promoter out there that they're co-promoting this with? Is that what it is?
Right. It's part of this. I just saw it. They're definitely working with the Saudi General Sports Authority, so it seems like the State Athletic Commission comparable to the United.
No pile drivers.
Right. But it's part of a larger plan to redevelop their social and economic programs. How it focuses on dependence on oil and diversifies its economy and develops public service sectors like health and education and infrastructure, recreation and tourism. I think they're trying to do all of this. Plus, since they have allowed some female athletes on TV, though not in the WWE, and though it seems like in Triple H saying, in a couple of years, this is what we could be able to work for, though they can't be that force and visual sign of change now, today, or Friday, I should say. What happens in 2 years when they can have a women's match on the show, when they can have a women's battle royal at the Greatest Royal Rumble? Does that then put them in the forefront of that culture of look at the evolution of women, the revolution of women in sports entertainment? Yeah,
I think that if with what you're saying, this is kind of going to be the icebreaker to kind of make this more of like a reoccurring thing. And honestly, when you said this could be the later on when they have like the all women's battle royal, all I thought about was just all these men in Saudi Arabia just having a sloppy Joe sesh just all the way around the ring because they can't look at porn. It's horrible. I'm sorry. That's literally what I just started thinking about. What even match are we on right now?
That was Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns. I never actually. So you think Roman's gonna go? Win.
I'm still going with Roman. They want to have that big, huge moment where this underdog, or under big dog, right? This under big dog finally gets his bite and finally gets his championship, and he's gonna do it at the biggest indie show in Saudi Arabia.
So next, there will be the crowning of a new champion, because for the vacant WWE Raw Tag Team Championship, you have Bray Wyatt and Matt Hardy versus Sheamus and Cesaro.
Oh man!
And again, this brings up a whole level of other confusion, because for the SmackDown Championship, Tag Team Championship, you have the Bludgeon Brothers versus the Usos. Now for the Raw titles, you have Bray and Matt versus Cesaro and Sheamus. Cesaro and Sheamus are now on SmackDown.
Okay, so Matt and Bray are going to go over?
There you go. Since basically Matt and Bray went over in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, and no one has ever gotten anything by winning that, they might actually give somebody something for winning it.
Well, wait a sec. Let's look up the previous winners of the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, because it seems like Cesaro won that and he became a tag team champion, right? I know that Baron Corbin has yet to, but right. kind of.
But I feel like, well, Sheamus did, but I felt like wasn't it like 2 years later, and like by that point, it was almost like they had forgotten that he had been in the Battle Royal, and who won it the next year? Was it Big Show?
Yeah, but Big Show should have won that the first year. Everyone
Right.
wanted him to win that first year.
But I mean, remember when Sheamus and Cesaro teamed up? There was almost like this sentiment of this was like their last little stretch, like because what was for them, it didn't seem like they were really those like Cesaro especially was really getting a positive reaction, the Cesaro section and everything that the company
which they killed. They're so stupid with that shit.
Right.
It doesn't make any sense. But yeah, I get exactly what you're saying. And, you know, Cesaro said this all the time. He's like, they just, whoever they saw me hanging out with in the back, they basically threw me together with the guy. You know what I mean? They've definitely done that. So yeah, Matt and Bray going over. It doesn't make any sense. I'm waiting for Bray to turn on him. You know what I mean?
I think there's that. I think there's also going to be the possibility. I'm not saying this is for sure. If you look at the development of woken Matt Hardy versus what happened with broken Matt Hardy at Impact, I almost feel we're following the same track. I am waiting then for the Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt exploration for gold, even though they would probably have to call it something else. Are we going to see the same thing we saw that they did at Impact, where like all of a sudden they're at every indie event taking all the tag titles again, that they're trying now to take the Raw and SmackDown tag team titles? Could this be a thing where Sheamus and Cesaro actually win it so that both tag team titles are over on SmackDown, and at Backlash we have to get a title unification to make one tag team championship, so that way that also minimizes and streamlines these multi-flagship cards where there's multiple brands on it.
I like the idea, but I don't think it's going to happen that way, because with how they, and I'm going back to the business, right? I'm doing more of the business talk because this is how this is why I get it. With all the house shows that they do, right? And they have 3 different tours, and including NXT in this 3rd tour, right? They have all these championships because people get excited to see that gold. You know what I mean? So having the Raw championships, their whole fleet of them. Having the SmackDown ones, their whole fleet of them. Having them being able to be on all the house shows makes them all more marketable. And, you know, it's a more of an intimate thing with the house shows. And they sell more merchandise and stuff like that. They, you know, for us, and this is why they periodically, as long... If it's me, this is my reasoning for it. The reason that we periodically get the unifications and things like that is because they want the titles to mean more. But then they break them right back up because they realize how much money they make when they do that. If that makes sense.
Right. I can see that too. I see that too. But I do think that regardless of what happens, I mean, and I agree with you. I do think Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt are going to win the championships. I feel like there's something else that they're going to move forward with them, since it's not Matt and Jeff being woken Matt and Jeff, even though they kind of teased this whole backstage. Jeff like, oh, brother Matt, or brother Bray, I've seen you have been resurrected. From Jeff Hardy saying it, and then also playing off like, oh, that was nothing, you know, like it's not in his brain, though it might be. Is there then going to be this Hardy exploration for gold again? I don't know. I just have this feeling that it could be there.
I think that they're going to keep them separated for a bit. You know, like it makes sense. You know what I mean? Jeff has always been the bigger star. Matt's becoming a huge star on his own right now. I think that I think they're going to keep them separated until, I'm going to go with this. I'm going to go until Bray turns on Matt, because I feel like that's where we're going with that. I feel like as soon as Bray turns on Matt, then we're going to get that whole, and then Bray will, you know, he'll grab somebody. Let's say he brings up Sanity, right? Let's say, you know, those guys all show up and Matt's really broken at this point, right?
Right.
And he needs Brother Nero to come back, and you know, Brother Nero's been doing his whole thing, and then, you know, co-branded pay-per-view, just like you said before, and we get then we get the Broken Hardys back together to take on a huge force in Matt's backyard, as we like to do that every once in a while. But yeah, I think that's where we're going, and that'll be at SummerSlam.
Yeah, I can see that.
All right. So what do we got? What else do we got?
We have, well, Jeff Hardy, who is currently the United States champion, versus Jinder Mahal.
They got a singles match?
Yes.
Shit. That's it. There's like two singles matches on the card. 2.5 if you include Undertaker and Rusev.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Jeez, how far into the card are we?
We have the Greatest Royal Rumble, and then we have the AJ Styles Shinsuke Nakamura.
Okay. Excuse me. We're gonna with this match. Who called the last one? Did I call it or did you call it first?
I'm not sure. I might have. So go ahead.
All right. So for this match, Jinder and I'm gonna go with what you're saying, getting that huge pop for Jinder Mahal. I think that he's gonna do it. You know what I mean? Or we could even, going back to the last match we just talked about, or we could get just Bray turning on. What if we did that? Bray turns on Matt right after this match, and then Jeff Hardy teams up with his brother again right away. They fucking these IndyCar mafia guys, they just ruin it right away. The whole build up to where everything I just said, they just kill it right off the bat.
And Jinder jumps in with the bar because why not?
Because why not, right? Because they all go to the gym. That's
Right.
it. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Jinder. Where are you going?
I was going Jinder as well.
Okay, so all right, so we're going with Jinder. Why are you going with Jinder? How do you think what do you think the finish is gonna be?
They are in Saudi Arabia. Jinder's gonna dominate. I think it will be a struggle. They'll try to, and they're gonna just build it up that it becomes Jinder. He is, even though he is the bad guy, he is the hometown hero.
Camel clutch?
Ooh. I don't even remember what his finish is right now.
He does the Sergeant Slaughter. He's got him in, right?
Oh yeah.
And then he slams the guy.
Okay.
Yeah. But if we get the camel clutch, I will shit a brick. I literally.
Championship inside Saudi Arabia.
Oh my gosh. Oh. And if this motherfucker comes out, oh my god, I would. They love me here in Saudi Arabia, baby.
Iron Sheik was Iranian?
Yeah, but. Whoa. I'm done with that. All right, AJ Styles, Shinsuke Nakamura. Let's where are we going with this one? This is the match over the AJ's hashtag broken balls. I'm just gonna put that out there. Jeez, I've never seen a PG television show try to literally break somebody's balls for week in, week out. ever since the biggest special presentation they've ever had.
Well, if I follow your lead and you're saying that this is the biggest independent wrestling event that wrestling has ever seen in Saudi Arabia, then to follow it, this is the customs match. This is yeah. I'm going for AJ, but I think AJ's going to win, but I think Shinsuke is going to be nothing but dirty the whole time.
Yeah, he's the heel right now. So
right.
I guess he had a new theme song, so which is stupid. Apparently, he's got words to it.
I actually dig it. I'll be honest.
I haven't even heard it.
It's basically the same song, like a little bit rocked. So it starts with the same violin. I think it's just a tiny bit shorter, and then it goes into like a little bit of a rock version, and then there's the words. I saw it today, and I'm like, I'm really okay with this. Like, if people have a problem with this, they need to get over it. Like, I think you're not supposed to like his music if he's a bad guy, and I'm digging his music.
Yeah, well, it was always a sweet song to begin with. So,
Right.
You giving it to AJ or you giving it to Shinsuke?
I'm giving it to AJ.
AJ, how's he gonna win? Clean in the middle?
I think it's going to be hard fought. I think he's going to come in surprise victory.
How would you book the surprise?
Say that again.
How would you book the surprise?
I think it's the overconfident bad guy, Shinsuke, is just ends up just walloping AJ for a little bit. AJ catches him with something. I don't think necessarily like a quick small package, but I think it's going to be something sudden roll up, or it'll be AJ kicks Shinsuke down below and then rolls him up.
Interesting. Okay, so for me, I'm going to go with AJ as well. But I think that I don't know. I'm trying to think how this would go, because I feel like we're gonna get the match we should have gotten at WrestleMania, and by that I mean I think that we're gonna get our Japanese fucking stiff as shit. Saudi Arabia is gonna go fucking ape shit, fucking like sort of match. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And
You just think this is going to be fight. It's not going to look pretty. It's just going to be super aggressive.
It's going to be nitty fucking gritty, and then they're not going to touch for a month. They're going to keep feuding with each other, but they're not going to touch. And then I think AJ is just going to fucking Styles Clash or fucking elbow, just clean 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be anything fancy. I think this is going to be the one where the new fans, right? The new $1 billion fans, they're just gonna really turn around and say, "That was a great fucking match between two of the best fucking guys in the world," and they're gonna whisper at each other just like this. I think that's just the way it's gonna go. All right, so what do we got next? The Rumble.
Yes.
All right.
So of the 50 men announced, they're
we're gonna take a quick little break and then we'll go right into it.
Okay, sounds good.
All right.
Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
WWE superstars compete in the Royal Rumble for a shot at the WWE Undisputed Heavyweight Championship, including the Lunatic Fringe Dean Ambrose, Adam Rose, the new and improved Fandango, Diamond Dallas Page, the Real Deal Titus O'Neil, R-Truth, The Miz and his stunt double Damien Mizdow, Jack Swagger, the Boogeyman, the Russian Brute from Bulgaria, Rusev, New Day member Kofi Kingston, Bubba Ray Dudley, the Big Red Corporate Machine with too many prefixes to his name, Kane, Luke Harper, Curtis Axel, the Bizarre One Goldust and his Cosmic Weirdo Stardust, Bray Wyatt, Natalia's husband Tyson Kidd, Sin Cara, Zack Ryder, the uneliminatable Big Show, New Day member Big E, the King of Swing Cesaro, Ryback, Bad News Barrett, Rolling Stone Magazine Wrestler of the Year Dolph Ziggler, Daniel Bryan, and the 2014 Slammy Award-winning Superstar of the Year Roman Reigns. It's time for the Rumble. It's time for the Royal Rumble.
All right, so I know that that's an old video, right? So apparently we have a lot of surprise entrants in it, including Ryback. What really got me was the upside down Bray Wyatt that was in there.
I really thought when it went through, it showed Sin Cara, and I was like, "Oh, that's Kalisto next to him." Then I looked really quick, and then it panned, and it looked like it was Scooby Doo wearing his mask, and I was like, "Was that Yeah.
Oh man, that was great. More
So-
than half of those people are not going to be in that match. Just to let everybody know there.
Half of them don't even work for the company anymore.
Yeah. But there's a lot of surprises in this match because it's the greatest.
Royal Rumble.
So, all right, I am not losing my mind because
Okay.
already I can see Greatest Royal Rumble was announced March 5th.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's that. This week, they've announced about a third of the field of competition of the 26 people, including a Hall of Famer and 2 people who no longer work for the WWE.
And Andre the Giant.
Hey, great timing. They just had his documentary on HBO. They've signed Andre the Giant's son, maybe. I don't know. But, all right. So I'm going to run down the list really quick, and then I'm going to get to the ones they just announced last night.
Okay, go ahead.
Last night.
Last night.
Last night. Okay.
2 days away from the
Greatest Royal Rumble.
All right. We have Daniel Bryan, Big Show, Braun Strowman, Kurt Angle, Apollo Crews, Titus O'Neil, Elias, Goldust, Mojo Rawley, Dolph Ziggler, Baron Corbin, Chad Gable, Big E, Kofi Kingston, Xavier Woods, Shelton Benjamin, Sin Cara, Chris Jericho, Bobby Roode, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, Shane McMahon, who they announced on Raw. On SmackDown, they announced Randy Orton, Rey Mysterio,
yeah.
the Great Khali,
Yeah.
and WWE Hall of Famer Mark Henry.
Okay. So let's.
And I
The guy that
swear they announced the
literally
Miz was
just
gonna be
retired.
announced.
Guy just retired. Like like 2 weeks ago?
Right.
Yeah.
He retired. He's in the Hall of Fame, and now he's in the Greatest Royal Rumble.
Oh God. They don't fucking care. Card subject to change. Card subject to change.
Right.
I was gonna pull up. I was gonna try to find the promotional poster for the
Greatest Royal Rumble.
and I was gonna say Khali's on there, but if they already announced him, then it's fine. So I was gonna say like they ruined that surprise. They ruined the surprise with Mysterio, who doesn't even work with the company. He's not in the company, right? That's the
Right.
whole. That's the whole thing. God, like, it just doesn't, it literally just doesn't make any sense to me. Because the whole thing is that we don't know what they're fighting for, right? They're fighting for Saudi Arabia, right? The winner of this gets to be the king of Saudi Arabia for 10 minutes until they show the WWE copyright banner. That's it.
Of course, we don't mean that, and we would never disrespect the kingdom of Saudi Arabia.
Here we go. Here we go.
That's racist.
But the whole
I wasn't going there.
oh okay.
I just don't want somebody to come find me.
Here we go. Okay. That being said, let's figure this out. Doesn't make any sense. So, the better Khali is he's he's gonna get a huge fucking pop. The dude is still, and I mean still because it doesn't really change, but he's still what, like 7'4" and gigantic and and oh no. You're the one that does the great Khali impression. I have record of that. Can you give us a little bit of that great Khali?
I feel like it's more like Andre the Giant in Princess Bride. I am the great grandpa with wobbers.
I think you got to drool a little bit more, and dude, he's got that huge fucking jaw too. You ever notice that? Like his jaw legit looks like this, where it's like everything's just fucking bad.
And so here's the great Khali from India, who hasn't wrestled in the WWE in years. He made that appearance for Jinder Mahal.
That we both called right here on the Tim Zabriskie show.
You
we
were
both
absolutely
fucking
right.
called it, and everyone was like, "Oh, okay." I was like, "Nope, we fucking did this." Yep. That was that.
So what I'm trying to really quickly see is, all right. So Jinder, what I'm kind of reading quickly from, well, no, Jinder's from India. I keep thinking that he was billed from being from Saudi Arabia. He's billed from India. So I don't know. Like, I feel like there's some kind of swerve we're all missing here. That the other half of the people in the Royal Rumble are the people who were in the matches. Like, or there's other people that, like, of course there's going to be other people than we know. I feel like we're just missing something.
Well, it's an indie card, so maybe there'll be some local boys on the show, right? Didn't they just have a tryout this week?
Well, I think they did something with the Great Khali School. That's right. The Great Khali has a training school in India.
Yeah.
The thing is, from what I understand, Khali more brings in talent from around the world to come in to provide training for his talent. Though it's, well, yeah, it's rough. I like just the few clips I've seen of before someone I know who went out there a few months ago went out there. I watched a little bit of some of their guys, and I'm like, okay. It was a little more challenging to watch than I expected.
You know what's funny, though? This just made me think of something, though. The Great Khali with his school, the WWE signed one of his girls, right? And that girl, if you remember in WrestleMania, was in the female battle royal. And the best was she was wearing basically a completely orange suit, like female, like Indian sort of like traditional suit or something that basically just gave away the stereotype that she's Indian, right? And Becky Lynch, who is an Irish girl, spun this girl around by her shoulder, so they're now facing each other, and goes, "Hey, you're wearing red. Red is my color," and the only thing she's wearing is red hair. It was just like, this is, I'm like, way to cause heat out of nothing. Like, way to start a conflict over nothing. But I guess that's why it's women's wrestling. Thank you. But it, like, literally just, I don't know, that's all I had. I just thought, I literally watched it and I was just like, they're reaching. Here we are, just trying to find some sort of conflict here. But
So you are correct. WWE also stated the winner of their WWE tryout in Saudi Arabia would also enter this match. But
that's one. So now we're up to 16, right?
But I mean,
there's
so for those of you who don't know, I create an independent wrestling calendar of events that happen around the world. I don't know of anything in Saudi Arabia. So where is this talent coming from? I would have to imagine they're bringing in people from other places in the Middle East.
Oh, we're going to get, like, there's a lot of talent that aren't being named yet, obviously, but
Right.
they have on the roster. We're talking about, like, all the cruiserweights, right? That'll take up, like, 15 of them. All those, I wouldn't be surprised if we ended up getting all the UK guys that they signed last year that they haven't done anything with.
I agree. Yeah, that's a whole other.
They're just going to be, because it's 50 people, right? 5-0.
Right, 50 people.
They announced 15, so that's 35 spots that they need to fill. There's definitely going to be, shit, Hogan's coming back. We don't fucking know. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, be prepared for some surprises. Scott Hall could bring his gear, you know.
Just saw him this last weekend, actually.
All right, so just based off who we have announced so far, who's going over?
See, that's just it, because I swear they've been talking about the Miz about this. He's not referenced on this page. He's not listed. So of the people listed so far, I'm gonna say Daniel Bryan. He was the very first person announced.
Daniel Bryan. You're gonna go with Daniel Bryan? The whitest guy in the fucking room, you're gonna go with Daniel Bryan?
Wait a second.
We're letting this one ride out, the whole sound, because this is actually pretty hilarious to me.
I mean, all right. So the way I look at the current rundown, the I don't see anybody else. I think I hate to say this, and I've heard other people make this comment. I like what Bobby Roode has done. Like when he first came in, when he went to SmackDown, I was like, wow, this is going to be great for him. He came to Raw, and I, for some reason, just was like, huh, that's weird. I'm not feeling it the same way I did on SmackDown. And I can't tangibly give you a reason as to why.
I'll tell you why. I will tell you why exactly. Because I noticed this as myself. What it is I don't think that Kevin Dunn and Triple H like each other. I'm gonna put this out there because if you look at the way that all the guys are going from, they're going from NXT to SmackDown, and they're having great success on SmackDown. But then when they make it to Raw, they're treating them all like shit. So I don't understand if that's just if like Kevin Dunn, like that he's personally taking that out on Triple H and what Triple H's vision is, or like what it is, because literally everyone, look at, like, did you watch Raw the other day?
Yes, it did.
Did you see what they did with Jinder there? He lost clean. Like, I don't even remember who he lost to. But the point is that Jinder came back because Triple H hired him back. You know, it's that whole thing. It's literally just like, I don't understand.
Chad Gable.
What? Chad Gable. He lost to Chad Gable. Literally, all these guys. That's just the way it's going so far. And you know, you can make the thing like, oh well, what about Drew Galloway, right? Drew Galloway just came back, and you know, he's with Dolph right now. But at the same time, Drew Galloway originally was one of Vince's guys, and you know, you hear these stories about how they hold on to that lineage. If they find a stupid reason not to like you or anything like that, they will hold on to it. But I really just feel it's because, like, it's one of Triple H's guys. So, and if you don't think so, look at, like, wait until who's the guy that's doing the Aldo Rose gimmick right now with all the other people and stuff like that. It's Cien Macias or something, whatever his name is.
Yeah.
He's gonna end up, you know, they're riding this out, and then he's gonna be completely booked to shit, because that's one of that he's been there since Triple H took over and things like that. Once our buddy Adam Cole makes it to that next level, you know, let's see how great he's booked, because he's still a short guy. You know what I mean? And everything like that. And that's still that stupid old school mentality that those guys have. They're gonna hold on to it.
We're gonna see the return. I agree with you, but I hate to agree with you about it, because we're gonna see Adam Cole booked the way he was in 2009. Like, oh, look at the young kid up and coming, has to climb this ladder and be knocked down all these times, has a brutal battle with I don't even know who at this point, because there's nobody else that's kind of small that's left on regular Raw other than somebody else from 205 Live. But
right. That's just what it is. There's something going on that we don't know, and I really just feel this way. It's just I just think that Kevin Dunn just doesn't like anything that Triple H is doing. So since this is so hard to really figure out who's gonna win this thing, I'm gonna go with Rey Mysterio. I think honestly, because we have literally no idea. I know that they don't want to give it to somebody that doesn't work for the company full time. However, out of everyone that's there, Great Khali is going to get a huge pop, as I said before, but Rey Mysterio is going to get the biggest fucking pop at this, because he's just the ultimate international star. My question is, who's going to get a bigger pop, him or Chris Jericho? You know what I mean? Like, because in this match, because you have to also factor Triple H, John Cena, they're already going to be out there, so when they come out for this match, they're not going to have as big of a pop, right? So between the two, it's like who's the most international star, and I think they're gonna give it to Mysterio.
That's fair, and I mean it was rumored before WrestleMania that they were courting Rey Mysterio to try to come back into the company. Rey just started his own company, Aro Lucha, which has like this interesting like crowdfunding element to it, where fans can own part of the company.
I don't know what that's about. I think that's
Right.
I think that's them just fucking working people to donate money for nothing.
So I'm curious as to where that will go, but at the same time, is Rey around? Like, would they keep him on a short program through, SummerSlam? Because we don't know. Like, and the WWE has done a better job lately of hiding some of the contract information. Like a Brock Lesnar, like, oh my gosh, he's going to go back to UFC. Oh, he's going to go back to UFC. He's going to go back to UFC. Ha ha ha, we got you.
Yeah, but at the same time, with what you're saying, look at this fucking card. Going back to our original point, this is a fucking indie show, so it doesn't fucking matter. At this point, we don't know, and there probably is no explanation of what the actual winner gets, so it doesn't matter at the end of the storyline. So they could literally give it to Mysterio, give it to the Khali, give it to I don't know. They could fucking call Nicholas back up and say, "Hey, Nicholas, you 10-year-old, you're fucking booked in Saudi Arabia. Just come out here and win." You know what I mean? Like it does. At the end of this card, it doesn't matter because it doesn't. It's not like it's really gonna translate unless it does, and all of a sudden there's a stipulation that we don't know about. You know what I mean?
Right.
But as far as we know, based off what we know today, it doesn't matter. So they literally could give it to anyone. I think that they would go with Mysterio.
I'm staying Daniel Bryan.
Daniel Bryan, fine. White of space. All right. Well, Phil, let us know. Thank you so much, by the way, for sitting down with us for this hour and a half. I know that you're trying to get out of work, I bet now, right? Thank you so much. Let me know, and all the people know where we can find you coming up.
My next appearance will be at Wrestling Revolver at the Valair Ballroom in Des Moines, Iowa on May 5th. Then May 12th, I will be at CZW in Voorhees, New Jersey. And then May 19th at MCW Pro Wrestling.
May 19th! May 19th! Keep going, I'm sorry.
I'm afraid now. May 19th, MCW Pro Wrestling returns to North Carroll High School in Hampstead, Maryland.
Fed seems awesome. That you're like, it seems like they just have amazing shows.
I love MCW, and what's interesting, during the day we had a convention. So we had Shawn Michaels and Kevin Nash and Scott Hall and X-Pac and Lex Luger. It was a decent lineup.
Yeah.
And I was afraid for the event because literally after we announced this convention, NXT announced they were doing a tour, and that the same day, literally 10 minutes up the road, they were going to bring NXT to town.
And what was the aftermath of all that?
So interestingly, I was disappointed. I wanted more people to be at the convention. I think it was an okay turnout, but I expected a little bit more traffic. The event itself, we only put out 500 chairs because we were like, we might not get a lot of people. Right. We had to pull out about 100 more chairs, and there were still people
awesome.
standing. Yeah.
And
NXT also drew 1,000 people 10 minutes away.
Wow.
So to me, that just said something about the power that MCW has as a company. I love being there. It's probably the most organized promotion I've ever worked with.
That's awesome.
And I just, there's a lot of good people. There's very, very, very low ego, which in wrestling can sometimes be a unique element.
Don't sit in my chair.
Right.
No, that's fantastic to hear.
By the way.
What?
That's a thing.
Yeah, no, that's a shoot. But at the same time, that's awesome to hear. I always see all of the promotional stuff that you're always plugging for them, and I always just say hey, that's a Fed I would, it would be a long hike, but I could see myself doing the hike, you know, because I'm getting close. I'm very close. I talked to the guys over at Truly Independent Wrestling, which is up here. One of the trainers is somebody I used to work out with a lot. They're only like, I don't know, like an hour and 20 minutes away or something. So I'm thinking I might try to take a couple bumps tomorrow. I don't know. I'm thinking about it, but I don't know. I'm still fat. I'm still old, you know, like my hip.
You're not old yet, and you just need to work out.
I just need to work out. That's it. We'll
So
start.
I referenced how I have a standing desk at my office.
Yeah.
I bought a floor stair stepper,
Oh wow.
so I will be standing and walking.
That's awesome. All right, Phil. Thank you so much for hanging out. I know it's late, but at least you'll beat the traffic this time, right? On the way home. So
Absolutely.
So I'll talk
It
to
only
you
took me
soon.
2.5 hours to get here this morning.
Yeah, I saw that Snapchat. Well, I'll talk to you later. And as for everybody else, thank you so much for watching any or all of this. And, you know, catch me outside. How about that?